Hello, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for SpiegelMom Scraps using one of the November sequin mixes. So it's called North Pole and it's perfect for Christmas projects and layouts, and the colours work really well with my photo today. And I'm using Simple Stories Make It Merry collection, which is one of the Christmas lines from this year, so it's nice and current, and the colours work really well with the North Pole mix, so the reds and greens, the shades are just perfect. So I was really happy about that. I love it when things match up nicely. So I've pulled out this kind of tartan grid pattern paper. Now I think the colours work really well with the mix, and it also goes quite well with my photo, I think. So a little photo of my boy, quite recently actually, we went ice skating and they had loads of like Christmas props lined up, and they had Santa's sleigh with loads of presents wrapped in it, and presents have all got bows on. So I thought like they kind of look like grids themselves, so I wanted that replicated with this pattern paper. And I'm going to cut it in kind of like a flag or banner shape, and I'm going to have it as a sign kind of hanging down like you would a bit of kind of Christmas bunting off your fireplace or something. So I've cut that down to size using the darker red lines as kind of a guide to keep it symmetrical. So I've just kind of cut along the red lines along the sides, and I'll do the same along the top, just because I'm really OCD with patterns and things more than anything. And then I'm using a bit of wood grain paper. This is from a different collection. This is a photo play collection from a few months ago. It's the one with all the kind of bees and honey and stuff in it. Really, really lovely. But I wanted a bit of wood grain to hang my flag from. So I'm just using a paper straw and kind of rolling it around the paper there, trying to get it as even as possible. Fail epically because one end still ends up fatter than the other, which always happens to me when I make paper straws. But never mind, it's not that much different, so it will do. And I'm just trying to decide how I want this paper, whether I want to fold it over that wood grain bit at the top, but I really wanted it on show. And as I'm making a shaker pocket today, I didn't think that folding over would work because I don't think my acetate would fold very easily. So I've put that to one side and I'm going to come back to it, but I'm going to get to working on my shaker pocket. And my brain really wasn't working when I made this layout. I think I was just really tired. My little boy had me up since before 6 o'clock that morning. It had just been one of those days, so brain was not engaging. Trying to cut things to size and measure when you're tired, just nightmare. So you'll see a lot of faffing and trimming and things. But effectively what I'm doing is cutting my acetate to the same size as my patterned paper. I'm going to add the Big Mama foam tape roll on top of that, all around the edges, and put my acetate on top. So the thought process going through my head at the moment is that once I've done that, you are going to see the Big Mama foam tape roll through my acetate. That banner is going to have a white border of the foam tape, which I didn't want. So I've realised now that I need to make kind of a frame to go on top of my banner to hide the white tape. So I've drawn around that, and I'm now going to kind of try and measure it up to make sure I make a border wide enough to hide the foam tape roll. So I'm just going to trim that out, and I decide I need to cut the top off of my flag just so that I've got enough room to be able to hang it from the top of the page. Yeah, brain honestly wasn't engaging. This is not good. Just watching me do this, I'm cringing at myself. Nothing was working in my head today. What a struggle. But we got there in the end. I persevered. So I've figured out now how wide I need to draw that border, and I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to gut the middle of that so it just leaves me with that frame. I almost cut into it then, and then realised that I need the frame to continue along the top as well. See what I mean? Like, scrapping when you're tired is dangerous stuff. So I've just trimmed that down now so it's small enough that it's going to leave me some room to have it hanging at the top. And I'm just going to gut the centre of that now, and then I'll have my border ready. Okay, so we are finally getting there. I have everything measured and cut now. nothing else can possibly go wrong. So I'm applying the Big Mama foam tape roll now to the border or the outside of that flag. This is from SpiegelMom Scraps. This stuff is fantastic for making shaker pockets. You can buy it on its own as a roll. I think it might actually come in 2 different sizes. This one is 1/4 of an inch. Or you can buy it as part of a sequin shaker pocket kind of starter kit where you get the tape, the acetate, some double-sided tape, so that's really good. If you want to shop at SpiegelMom, I will pop a link in my description box below. That link will save you 15% off your entire order. So your shaker pockets, your acetate, your adhesives, your sequins, everything. You'll get 15% off if you use that link. And the discount will be applied automatically at the checkout. So when you get through to the checkout stage, you'll notice your discount come off before you pay. So I've just used my North Pole mix and I've poured the entire thing into my shaker pocket. Well, almost the entire thing. I have used a sprinkling on another layout, but the majority of the pack has gone in. And then I stuck my acetate on top, and this is what I was talking about, seeing the foam tape through. So you've got that white border, which just kind of looks a bit unfinished. So that's where this red border is going to come in. I'm going to stick that on the top and just disguise that tape. I'm just rubbing out my pencil marks. This is textured basil cardstock, so rather than being able to turn it over, I wanted the texture to show, so I'm just gone round and erased my pencil lines. And now I'm adding some red line tape on top of that, and this is what the board is going to stick to. This stuff, again, is from SpiegelMom Scraps. You can buy it individually or it can come with a shaker pocket kit, I believe. The link down below will save you 15% off this as well. So now I'm going to peel all of that off and get that border stuck in place, and then that will be my shaker pocket finished. I absolutely love how this looks. This video really doesn't do it justice. I'm really struggling for lighting in my craft room. This time of year is just no good for lighting for me. My house is really dark and my lights, they just give this artificial glare, and especially when I'm making a shaker pocket, it just all reflects off of the acetate. So I try not to use them when I'm making shaker pockets, so the light is really dull, but actually these sequins and the papers are so much brighter in real life. I'm just trying to get my kind of dangly sign in place now, so I've used that wood grain paper to kind of look like a little branch of wood, make it look quite rustic, and I'm tying some twine around either end, and I'm going to have a brad up at the top to hold that in place. So I haven't got the brads that come with this collection. I think there are brads for this collection. So I've pulled out an older Echo Park brad, and it says, what does it say? Winter Memories, and it's red. So I'm just piercing a hole at the top of my page for that to sit through, and I'll wrap the twine around it, and then that will hold that in place nicely. So there we go, we are getting there now. I'm going to stick this shaker pocket to my background. I'm just using double-sided tape for that, or tear it tape. Again, you can get that from SpiegelMom via the link below. I've just tacked it in place with a few bits for now because I wasn't sure if I was going to end up lifting this back off to add some mixed media to my background or not. I want to get my photo on and embellish first before I decide, because I don't want the page to look too crowded, but quite often I do end up embellishing and then think I need some mixed media. So I've just tacked it in place for now. I can always lift that back off if I need to. So I've added the same red cardstock behind my photo as I've used for the frame on my shaker pocket there. And before I go any further, I really want to get a title in place, because I know I want my title to be quite large and stand out. So I need to get that in place before I stick loads of embellishments on and end up covering my entire shaker pocket. I do want to be able to see the sequins through my layout, so I'm just going to get my title in. I'm going to use the foam stickers for the collection. It's got the word Holly. I love that because it's got a kind of like craft colour on it that matches the wood grain nicely, and that I've used it at the top, but it's also got some colours on it as well. And then I'm going to use the alphabet stickers from the sticker book to use the word jolly. So I'm just going to make my title Holly Jolly, and I'm just going to have the stickers underneath the word Holly there just to finish that off. So now I know I've got my title in place, I can work on getting everything else stuck down and in place. So I've stuck my photo over my shaker pocket, kind of overlapping, and I've just added a little bit of foam to the right hand side where that's going to sit sort of off the shaker pocket. I needed it to be raised up to the same level. And now I'm just going through the die cut pack, or bits and pieces pack I think it's called, with this collection. I pulled out a stack of presents because I really love that. It matches the stack of presents in my photo, so I thought that was perfect. I've added a couple of baubles hanging up the top there on the right. I'm just adding some foam pads behind that just to raise it up for a bit of dimension. And I've got a stocking dangling down over on the left there just by my title. So those are all stuck in place now. I don't want to add too much more because I'm very conscious that my shaker pocket is getting covered up the more I add. So I'm going to add just a couple of poinsettia stickers from the sticker sheet. I'm going to cut that large one in half. It would have been tucked under my photo and you wouldn't have seen it, so it would have been wasted. So I've managed to save that other half for another layout. So I've got that over on one either side of my photo, and I've added another little present sticker down on the right hand side. And now I'm thinking I need to add some mixed media. So I think I'm off camera at the moment rummaging through my stash of ink pads, trying to decide which colour to use. I know I want it to be green so that it kind of contrasts with that red border on my shaker pocket. And I pulled out two distress inks. I had Mowed Lawn and Twisted Citron, and I think in the end I went with Mowed Lawn. It was a slightly kind of darker green as opposed to a lime green. It matched the collection much better. So I'm just using a blending brush and going around the outside edge of my shaker pocket there, just adding a bit of that ink. And this is where it's good that I just tacked this in place so it lifts up really easily. And I can just get my brush in under the end there. A bit harder up the top because I've got that brad holding the twine in place, but totally manageable. And I'm just going to have that all the way around, just kind of acts as like a shadow underneath my shaker pocket. And I'm not going to do too much more. I did contemplate white splatters, but I didn't really want them sitting on my acetate. They don't dry very well on acetate, and then I end up smudging them. So I'm just going to leave it with that green ink around the outside, and I love how that just finishes the page off. Just gives that little bit more detail without overcrowding the page at all. And I'm just going to finish off now. I think this is my final step, just adding a few word stickers down on the left there. So I've got laugh, play and jingle all the way, a holly jolly holiday, and festive and fun. And I love that I've managed to embellish with a few bits, but you can still see a large area of that shaker pocket, so you can see loads of the sequins coming through. And there we go, that is my final layout. So I got there in the end. Moral of the story, don't try and do maths and measurements when you're tired. It's just not going to happen. But really pleased I stuck with it and got there in the end. So I hope you've enjoyed this layout. I hope it's given you some inspiration. I absolutely love this mix. At the moment it is still in the store, so grab it whilst you can. I have a feeling it might sell out as we approach Christmas. But thanks again for joining me. I will leave that comment, or sorry, that link in the description box below that will save you your 15% off in the store. So make sure you use that. And that link won't expire, so save it for next time as well. But thanks again. I'll leave you with the close-ups and I'll see you next time.